Hi, my name is Cassie, otherwise known as the Doll Doctor, and today we are going to be making a doll that looks like me. So, I started with a Truly Me 88. So, this part I actually did before I did, the eye swap, but because I am not doing, the gluing on of the wig until after I've already swapped the eyes, I decided to do the eye swap video first and do the wig swap all as one video. You probably noticed while watching the eye swap video that, you know, in the beginning when I showed the doll, she had her wig on, and then suddenly when I was actually doing the eye swap, she was bald, and that's because the doll doesn't have to be bald for you to do an eye swap, but I think that if I'm gonna swap the wig anyway, it's kind of easier to just do it while she's bald. So for this video, I decided I wanted to show the whole wig swap start to finish. On some of the newer dolls I've noticed, I don't know if they use a different kind of glue now or if they don't use as much of it, but I actually have had pretty good success just pulling the wig off with my fingers. It takes a little bit of time no matter how you pull it off, but I've found that just doing it with my fingers, I seem to have more control. I can get up in there good, but I can be careful not to tear the wig. That way the wig could be reused. In this case, I'm just gonna hold on to this wig as an extra right now. I don't have any specific plans for it, but I am still going to be careful with it because it is a beautiful wig that would be very helpful, especially if I ever wanted to repair my original 88. I already have an 88 in my collection, which is why I'm customizing this one. On wigs that are a little harder to get off, which I've typically found are kind of like usually the early Mattel dolls, wigs are pretty hard to get off. Sometimes on the Pleasant Company dolls, sometimes they're hard, but sometimes it's like, oh, the glue has kind of like served its purpose, is kind of starting to deteriorate, so you can get them off easier on some of the really old dolls. But definitely on like the earlier Mattels, they are glued down pretty tight. I found that on the newer Truly Me dolls, you can usually get them off with just fingers. Some people use nail polish remover. I have never used that to remove a wig. I just worry about it damaging the wig, and especially I worry about it damaging the doll, removing some of the paint. If it gets in the eyes, that is really bad. So if it is not a newer doll with hair that comes loose really easily like this one is, then I would suggest actually using a spoon that you don't mind getting bent, because you may bend it a little, but and get it up underneath there and kind of wiggle it around, and you can kind of use that to help pull it off. And that is what I've used on some dolls that are more tricky. Right there, it's already starting to come up, so I can already tell this one is not going to be a very tricky one to remove. It's already coming loose quite well. So you kind of have to put some pressure on it, but you can definitely get this one off. Alright, so I got her old wig off. As you can see, it still looks pretty intact. It could maybe use a little bit of a brushing, but the wig cap looks good. It's not torn, so I can reuse it on another doll. I'm gonna keep it to use on another doll someday. So oftentimes there will be a few straggly hairs from pulling it off. This is okay. They stick to your doll's head. You can just pull them off to get rid of them, and that way you can re-wig the doll. And this really is not noticeable on the wig at all. As you can tell, there's definitely some bits of glue that stuck to her head, but the wig does not look like seems to be lacking. It's just little small pieces that get stuck. And if there's any hair that like doesn't want to come off with just your fingers, like this little stubborn blue bit here, you can really carefully just take scissors and trim right there as close as you can get along the doll's head right there. Now that hair is gone, it will not show. You can see there's just a little strip of blue right there where we cut it. That will not matter because it will be covered up by the new wig. For me today, the whole process of removing her wig took about 15 minutes. That can definitely vary depending on the doll you're doing, depending on how experienced you are, how many times you've removed wigs in the past. It can just kind of depend, but just so you have an idea of about how long this took, it took about 15 minutes for me. So here's our wig today. It is beautiful, wavy, and my hair is kind of dyed right now, but you can tell it is very close to my original color. This wig is from Dallas Doll Co, I believe. So there's a few different ways to attach your wig of choice. One thing that is kind of nice about these newer dolls is that they have a line right here. So the first way is to simply just put it on, line it up with that line, kind of hold it down, and then pull the rest of it on. And then you can line it up however you want. As you can see, this wig is on pretty tightly. It can be brushed, it can be played with. It does have a chance of coming off though because it's not glued down. So most of my dolls I just do like this. I don't actually like glue the wigs down. And this works perfectly if you are planning on displaying the dolls, if you are planning on taking them out for photography, any of that kind of stuff, especially if you are keeping the doll for yourself, because then you can just, you know, put the wig back on if it happened to fall off with some more strenuous activities. If you are gifting this doll to someone, or if you are planning on traveling with it, I would recommend gluing it down. Especially if you are gifting it to someone who is going to actually play and maybe be a bit rougher with it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how you glue it down now. So for starters, there are a few different kinds of glue you can use. I usually just use tacky glue for mine. It has held up really well from what I have seen. Now, I've heard some people do use a bit stronger glue, especially if they're giving it to a young kid or somebody that they think is going to play with it really roughly. I've never had any problems with tacky glue, so that's what I will be using, but I just wanted to let you know that if you think you need a stronger glue, that is an option. The way that I have learned is probably best to do this is to put the glue right in here, right in like the middle of the wig cap. I used to just put the glue on the head, which in theory works well, but I would have a lot of issues with like the hair getting trapped under while I was trying to put it on and then becoming a gluey mess because it brushed up against the head. So I like putting it directly on the cap. So I've just kind of put some glue right in there like that. And then I'm going to put it on just the same way that I did the other time. So line it up with where I want it on the front. Just like that. There we go, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull it down. And then I kind of go around all the edges, make sure that it is pulled down completely over. You can kind of tell where the previous wig was. Make sure it's pulled down completely over that, so that you aren't seeing the previous remnants at all under there. And then once it is on very nice and sturdy like this, you can go ahead and brush it out a little bit, kind of make sure it's positioned like you like before the glue hardens. If you are at all worried about it, if it at all feels loose, this wig is pretty tight, so I'm not really worried about it coming off. But if it still feels loose at all to you, you can definitely go up under the edging and with like a toothpick, just put a little bit of glue like right up under the edges, just to make sure it stays on nice and snug if you're concerned about it. And I know I said that in most cases I don't glue down my doll's wigs, which usually I don't, and yes, obviously this one is my lookalike, it is for me, but in this case, my mini-me is probably going to be doing some traveling with me to meetups, such as the grand reopening of the Dallas store that's coming up. Mini Cassie's going to be coming to that, and so just because with getting jostled in travel and stuff, I didn't want her wig to come off, I went ahead and glued this one down for a little extra security. This is how you do a wig swap. I think she looks fantabulous and a lot like me. Thank you so much for watching this video. If it was helpful or inspirational to you, please let me know in the comments down below. And give this video a like and go ahead and give the Doll Doctor a subscribe. Exciting news, the grand reopening of the American Girl Dallas store is actually this weekend, this coming Saturday, March 2nd. I will be there. I will be bringing my mini Cassie doll. If you want to find out more information about it, you can check it out over on my Instagram, agkirsten09. If you are there, please come say hi. I would love to meet you. If you want to see what happens next with the Cassie doll, stay tuned for next week's video. This is Cassie the Doll Doctor, signing off.